We've got an answer as to what happened to Bobby Pierce down there at Volusia Speedway Park for the first night of the DirtCar Nationals. As you know, Pierce slowed up, coming to the green flag with 7 laps to go, and basically created a massive, massive pileup that you usually see at super speedway races in the NASCAR Cup Series. You had cars flying through the air. Hudson O'Neal went flying head first into the wall. Huge damage to that car. Mike Marlar was up in the air. There was about over a dozen cars were involved in this wreck. Huge, huge, brutal wreck. Fortunately, I think everyone walked away and was A-okay. But let's take a look at this. And before we get to it, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. So here is the wreck, and then we'll get to what Bobby Pierce had to say after the wreck here. They're coming to the green. Pierce slows up. Madden gets into the rear of him. I think that's where he cuts the tire there, and then all mayhem breaks loose. Everyone is wrecked. Ashton Winger's in there. Chase Younghands, Hudson O'Neal, Mike Marlar. You can see Brandon Shepard is stuck down here in the mud after he avoids most of it. Tyler Erb was heavily involved. I mean, everyone was involved in this except for Devin Moran, Ricky Thornton Jr., and a couple of the guys that were on the outside. Kyle Bronson were able to avoid most of that. So huge, huge wreck. And it was hard to tell exactly what happened at the time because you had the tire get cut, which looks like now it was maybe cut from the contact with Madden after Pierce had already slowed. We do see that the safety people come over and put out a fire on Pierce's car, so there was speculation that it was an engine issue. But now we have a definitive answer from Bobby Pierce here. He spoke to Dirt on Dirt following the race, and this is what he had to say here. Let's take a listen.
Bobby, you're a great car, and then on that restart, everything went wrong. What happened?
Yeah, so we have a different carburetor set up on it, and I guess same thing that happened to Garrett Smith the other night. I think it was at East Bay. Happened to me, something with the fuel line. So kind of figure out how to make that stronger, I guess. And the car was great before that, and I think I was probably gonna end up holding those guys off. My restarts were pretty good. I feel like I had a good restart. And right as I got about to the opening of that wall, a little before that, the motor shut off, and the rest happened. And once it shut off, it caught fire, and yeah.
The fire suppression system went off, I believe, too, to turn that, get the.
No, they came by and blew it out. It wasn't a big fire, so I didn't pull the switch or anything. Yeah.
Okay. How disappointing was this one?
So there you go. He's saying there was an issue with the fuel line, and he thinks it was the same thing that happened to Garrett Smith down at East Bay. If you recall, he did have his car caught fire and caused a caution down there. So clearly, that might be something that's happening with these super late models. Something that they'll have to figure out. And I'm sure they'll get it fixed. But that's what Bobby Pierce had to say about what happened to his car down there at Volusia Speedway Park for the first night of the DirtCar Nationals. Hopefully, he gets it fixed and repaired, gets back out there, because he had a car last night. I don't really think anyone had anything for him. He had a 2-second lead over Devin Moran at one point. Obviously, Moran was able to kind of reel him back in once Pierce caught the back of the field. We had Mike Marlar with a fantastic car, too. He was really ripping the outside, making a really good time, had moved up into the top 10, maybe the top 5, if I recall. But it was going to be a really good race. Ricky Thornton Jr. also had a piece, I think, too. We saw that at the end of the race there where he was reeling in Devin Moran, closed in from a 9/10 second gap to 3/10 second gap in just one lap. Unfortunately, I think the pressure got to him a little bit there as he tried to make a move down on the bottom. Didn't work out, and then he tried to go back up to the top side, and then he hopped the cushion and really lost a lot of time, and that allowed Devin Moran to kind of just drive away with the win. But let me know what you guys make of what Bobby Pierce had to say here. What do you make of this wreck? Let me know in the comments below.